6th or 7th class citizen, right? And you lived on the land, and the land was owned by the lords and the ladies. That's where we get the term landlord from. They're the people who own the land, and then you rent it from them. That's where we get that term from. Are y'all tracking? So during the economic era of, in fact, I'm going to call this eco era. During the economic era of the agricultural age, land equal wealth, things happen very slowly. People didn't live very long. Like if somebody lived till they were 47, they were considered old, right? People didn't live very long. And if you were born rich, you stayed rich. If you were born poor, you stayed poor. There was no middle class. You were either rich or poor. Well, change happened very slowly. There was no such thing as retirement. You basically lived until you died. And then from the mid-1750s, mid-1700s to the mid-1900s, 1950s, we went into the industrial age. And in the industrial age, machines equaled wealth. And the people who own the machines own the wealth. Now, here's what's really cool about the industrial age. The industrial age, people who created wealth, they created wealth in a very short period of time compared to people who were wealthy basically forever. Right? You were either born into, now here you got people who were born poor, but they created a machine of some kind, and then turned that machine into a factory, and then hired people to come work in the factory, and they started creating all of this massive wealth during the industrial age. And during the industrial age, machines equal wealth. The people who own the machines own the wealth. A whole bunch of stuff was created during this time. Retirement was created. That never existed before, right? High school was High school was created during this time. Like 8-hour work days. That was created during this time. All of these things were created. Oh, but this was a very permission-based society. What does that mean? It means if you thought you were an author and you thought you could write, somebody who owned a printing press had to agree or you'd never get published. How many of y'all are tracking? This is what I mean when I say it's easier to create wealth now than it's ever been in human history. Like if you thought you could sing, I believe I can sing. Right? If you think you can sing, if you thought you could sing, if Motown didn't think you could sing, it didn't matter. If Columbia Records didn't think you could sing, it didn't matter. If Sony Records didn't think you could sing, it didn't matter. You had to get permission from the people who owned the machines. And if you didn't get permission from them, it didn't matter how good you thought you were. Like, the machines were centralized. They were owned by the people who owned them. There was no create your own way in the world. Create my own way with what? Right? You thought you were an actor. Well, you better hope Hollywood agreed. What a day to live. You can literally, in 2024, you can be anything. And it doesn't matter you don't need permission from anybody. You know what, to me, the funniest, not funny, haha, funny, peculiar, the funniest shows to me on television are like American Idol and America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent. Like, you're going to go sing in front of 4 people, and if they approve you, you're happy. Who cares what they think? Get on YouTube, sing your song. If people like it, they'll vote by subscribing to you. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, it literally doesn't matter. When you understand this, by the way, the whole college degree was the formula for success. This was created during the industrial age. Why? Because if I was working on the farm and I was really working hard on the farm, the guy who owned the factory was driving past the farm and he saw me working on the farm. He's like, dude, you're a really hardworking guy. I got this machine. If you come run this machine, instead of you working 12 hours a day, you can come work for me 8 hours a day. I'm really making this succinct. I know it took longer and it took a period of time to get to the 8-hour workday, but like you come work for me and you can work 8 hours. You can have Saturday and Sunday off. You can be at home with your family. I'm like, and I'll pay you more than you making here on this farm. Sign me up. Right? I worked on a farm once for a whole day. I prayed for God to deliver me from that day. Okay. So then you get to the factory and you're working on this machine and you're like really, really good with the machine and you understand the machine. If the machine breaks, you can fix it. And the boss sees you. He's like, you're so good at working on this machine that, you know what? If you go to school at night, if you go to college at night, we'll pay for it. And you learn management and you learn how to manage people. When you get your degree, you come back and work in the factory and I'll help you. I'll let you manage the people who run the machines. You won't even have to run the machine anymore. So you know what I did when I came home? And after I come home, go to school, I talk to my kids at night. I say, you make sure you study hard. You make sure you get good grades. Because when you graduate, you can go off to a good college. You can skip working on the farm. You can skip working in the factory. You can just go straight into management. It made sense back then. It made perfect sense that education, by the way, education is the way to elevate your station in life, but college is not the only form of education. It's not necessarily the best form of education. It's the best form of education for some, but it's not the only form of education. There are other forms of education out there. So all of these things happened during the industrial age. But guess what happened then? We went from the industrial age in the mid-1750s, 1950s, mid-1950s to 1978, we went into the distribution age. And in the distribution age, outlets equaled wealth. And the people who own the outlets own the wealth. So it's pretty simple to understand this part right here. This part right here, we're talking about Ford, we're talking about Rockefeller, we're talking about Carnegie, right? All of these people. But in the distribution age, we're talking about Sam Walton. We're talking about Sears. We're talking about J.C. Penney. What happened? We're talking about Amway. We're talking about malls. We're talking about department stores. See, the reason these people created this wealth was because they said, okay, we're not going to make a living in the past. We're going to create something that is for now and tomorrow, not yesterday and the day before. I promise you, if you're struggling right now to make money, I promise you, to the degree that you're struggling to make money, it's to that same degree you are stuck in the past. Wow. That's mind-blowing. It's so sheerly and utterly mind-blowing that like the more you can understand the day and age in which you live, and the more solutions you can create for that day and moving forward, the better off you're going to do financially, period. Like, period. So, outlets equal wealth. So many malls, discount stores, MLM, infomercials, QVC, like all of that stuff was created between 1950s and 1978. But something was invented in 1978 that changed the world. The personal computer. And from 1978 to 1994, we went into the technology age. And in the technology age, what I call tech-know-how equaled wealth. And people who knew how to create new technologies, those are the people who own the wealth. And I remember this like it was yesterday, because in 1980, I was 19 years old. And guess what I saw on Time magazine? I saw kids in their 20s who were becoming billionaires. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Michael Dell, Bill Gates. These were guys who were born just a couple of years before me. They were born in the mid-50s, and they were billionaires. And they did it through computer programming. And so from 1980 to 1990, everybody wanted to go to school for computer programming. But they were too late. The thing about Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Bill Gates, Michael Dell, all the rest of those guys, they started with the computer programming thing in the 60s. They were getting ready for a time that was coming after them. not for one that came before them. And so here's one of the problems we have. Our parents are the ones who prepare us for the future, but our parents were stuck in the past. That's why if you really want to assist your children on their journey through life, one of the most important things you can do is to be forward thinking. Don't get stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck in the past. Because if you do, you're going to set your children on a path of frustration. Is what I'm saying making some sense? And so what happens, tech know-how equaled wealth, and so they created the personal computer, and the personal computer changed the world. IBM. People will never want to use a personal computer. Why would somebody want a personal computer? It's so fascinating how it takes, like new technologies are usually created by rebels. By the way, my first computer I bought in 1988 or 1989, my first personal computer. It was an Apple IIe with a 5.5-inch floppy drive and no hard drive. Hard drives were, I didn't have a hard drive till probably 1991, a hard drive. And I remember I got a 40 megabyte hard drive. That thing was so big, 40 megabyte hard drive. Doesn't that sound right? In my 8088 or my 8086. Y'all, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And it changed everything. It changed how we managed our money. It changed how businesses were managed. It changed how accounting was done. Everything changed with technology in the technology age. Then 1994. I remember my brothers, they were so excited about this. 1994 to 2003. We went into the information age. Now, the information age was the most unique age to date because every other age, wealth was created by owning something. But in the information age, you can't own information. The sky's blue. Who owns that? Everybody and nobody, right? Water's wet. Who owns that information? Nobody and everybody. So the people who created wealth in the information age didn't create wealth by owning information. They created wealth by controlling the flow of information. And the flow of information, controlling the flow of information equaled wealth. I remember I met guys during the information age who were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with Google AdSense web pages. What's a Google AdSense web page? They would build a web page and it would just have Google ad links on it. So if somebody looked up how to make money, they would just have, or how to make money on the internet, they would just have a whole bunch of a whole bunch of Google links to these, and then people clicked on them. Just like, you know how people make YouTube videos now and then they run ads on the YouTube video and then YouTube shares their ad revenue? Like if you created AdSense pages back then somebody clicked on your AdSense page, on your link, YouTube would pay you a part of the revenue that came from that ad. And there were people who were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month back in the early 2000s with AdSense pages. Isn't it? I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you never even heard of an AdSense page before I just said that? That's my point. See what I'm saying? So that doesn't make you ignorant. It just means like there's so much opportunity that nobody has time to capture it all. And so 2003 to 2008. Oh, by the way, before I get to this one, let me ask you a question. Those of you in the audience, what do y'all notice about each one of these economic eras? Getting shorter and shorter. That's right. Every economic era is getting shorter and shorter. That's why it feels so hard to get rich. Well, the amount of time you have to tool up gets shorter and shorter. The people in the agricultural age had thousands of years to get ready for the industrial age. I thought of something so funny, but I'm not going to say it because it'll get me in trouble. Okay, the people in the industrial age had hundreds of years to get ready for the next economic era. The people in the distribution age only had a couple of decades. This is why it feels so hard to create wealth. By the time you even realize that you need to tool up for something new that's happening, that thing's gone and the new thing is here. Now, y'all want to see something else fascinating? Fascinating to me. It may not be fascinating to you. The agricultural age created the environment that produced the age that replaced it, the industrial age. They were farming with manual tools, and somebody said, this is dumb. Somebody just woke up one day and said, this is dumb. We need to make a machine that can do this. And so they created a machine to do the farming. And now we have machines that plow the land. We have machines that sow the seed. We have machines that harvest the crop. We have machines that milk the cows. So all of the problems that existed during the agricultural age created the opportunity for the industrial age. And the industrial age, because we had machines now, machines could work harder and longer than people and didn't need coffee breaks and vacations. Now we produced more goods in the industrial age than we did in the agricultural age. And so now we got all this stuff stacking up in warehouses. We need to do something with it. So what? The industrial age created the need for the distribution age. So every economic age is creating the era that replaces it. It's literally, just by existing, is making itself obsolete. This is why it's absolutely imperative for you, me, and everybody we know who's serious about creating wealth, we must stay on the cutting edge of technology. Don't be late to the technology party. You will get left behind. And it's like getting to the airport late on one of the We Will Inconvenience You at Our Convenience Airlines. Once they close the door, they ain't opening it back up for you. Well, guess what? The distribution age started distributing things, and all of a sudden they were having a hard time keeping track of what they had distributed. So Sam Walton he was the first one to do this. Sam Walton went to IBM and recruited computer programmers to write programs to keep track of his inventory in his Walmart stores. And it became the industry standard. So literally the distribution age created the need for the technology age. And then the technology age, well, we got all this technology, we might as well use it to control the flow of information. Then 2003 to 2008, we went into what I call the techno, info, edutainment age. And that's people who knew how to use technology to create information that educated people in an entertaining way. Wow. In an entertaining way, those are the people who own the wealth. Now, y'all have heard me tell the story about how I created wealth. I literally landed in the techno, info, edutainment age and had an idea at the absolute perfect time. And I created some level of wealth. I mean, we made a few $1 million, which was decent. But I made the mistake of thinking that I created that wealth because I was good. But the real reason I created that wealth was because I was on time. I was at the right place at the right time and took the right action. I don't know if this is helping anybody besides me or not. By the way, 2008, right at 2008, because I didn't change with the times, guess what happened? My plane crashed. Not literal plane, my prosperity plane. It crashed in the desert of despair. So 2008, techno-info, this is people who knew how to use technology, create information, in an educated and entertaining way. This is where Russell Simmons became a billionaire. This is where Spike Lee, this guy with a camera and knew how to use it, he created commercials and then started making movies. This is the era in which Tyler Perry went from selling videotapes of plays out of the trunk of his car to now he's a billionaire. The techno-info edutainment age, the people who were there at that time. By the way, can I say this? It doesn't matter what the age is. No age is better than another age. They're just different. The thing that has to be better is you. And the way you get better is by being ready and perceptive and willing enough to change when you recognize a new era. Are y'all tracking? Okay. And so this is the first economic age in world history that lasted for a longer period. No, not this one, the next one. 2008 to, and this one went to all the way up to 2021. We were in the partnership age. In the partnership age, let me say this while I'm on it. You can still create wealth in any of these. You can still create wealth in agriculture if you have enough money to buy enough land. You can still create money in manufacturing if you have enough money to buy a factory or build one. You can still create money in wealth and distribution. You can still create wealth in technology if you know how to create some new technology. It's like none of these become obsolete. They just become harder to create wealth in because most of the money has already moved to another sector. It's like if you're going to go fishing, what's the most important thing you need? Well, you need some tackle. You might need a boat. You need a fishing pole. You need some bait. But the most important thing you need is a school of hungry fish. And when it comes to the economy of the world, the school of hungry fish is the era in which we find ourselves, as long as we find ourselves a match for that economic era. Does that make sense? So the partnership age was an age where people who knew how to create strategic partnerships, these are the people who own the wealth. Man, I tapped back into this thing in 2017. It's so crazy. Equals wealth. Do you realize that affiliate marketing is a partnership? Here's what's interesting. I mean, all of it still works. I started selling other people's products to my audience somewhere between there and there. I started partnering. Do you realize, two things are required for you to create wealth. You need an offer and you need an audience. You don't have to have both. If you have one, partner with somebody who has the other. This is the first economic era in the history of the world where multi-billion, everybody say multi-billion. Multi-billion dollar corporations said, I want to partner with average Joe. And if average Joe will either put products on the shelf for me to promote to my audience, or average Joe will bring their audience to buy my products, I will pay average Joe 70% of the money. Amazon, look, what was created in 2008? You know what was created in 2008? Apple created the App Store. This changed the world. In less than 3 years, Apple paid out $2.5 billion to people who created apps in the App Store and affiliate commissions. Apple said, if you'll create an app for our store, we'll sell our app to our hundreds of millions of customers. We'll sell your app to our hundreds of millions of customers. And when they buy it, we'll pay you 70% of the money. Amazon said, well, you know what? If you'll write an ebook and put it on our shelves and sell that ebook for $10, we'll pay you $7, we'll keep $3. Why? Because Amazon realized something that the rest of us who don't have billions of dollars still haven't figured out. That 30% of a watermelon is more than 100% of a grape. And but I want all the money. I don't want all the money. I'm happy to pay people. I love to pay people. I especially love to pay people who bring me money and bring me clients and bring me customers. I love to pay people. Isn't this fascinating? By the way, I stepped into this in the biggest way in 2022 after this economic era had already, it was already gone. But I stepped into it in 2022 by doing what? What I'm doing right now, creating YouTube videos. And since I was on YouTube, hey, you don't have to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. Just don't be a wooden spoon forever. I opened my YouTube account March 15th, 2007. 2017. 2007. And I think of myself as a relatively intelligent human being, unless we're talking about YouTube. Because 14 years later, I found out in October of 2021, YouTube will pay you for putting videos up there. Say what? They'll do what for what? I had no idea. No, you don't understand. I already had 5,000 subscribers. I already had thousands of hours of watch time. I just didn't know they pay people. Once I found out they pay people, though, I got hyper intentional. Everybody say hyper intentional. Starting April 1st, 2022, I decided I am going to make at least one YouTube video a week. You were there, exactly. And I'm going to do that for 10 years and see if I can get good. I haven't been doing it 10 years yet, and I'm not good yet, but I am getting better. And so today is November 25th, 2024. So this is 2.5 years later. Now, I just looked, and 51 million views on my YouTube channel. More than 50 million of those came in the last 2.5 years. YouTube has paid me over $1 million for creating content for their platform. Because I said, yeah, YouTube said, we'll build the platform, you make the video. I said, okay, just don't make me build the platform. Like, I got the easy part of that equation. You mean get a camera, turn on a camera and some lights, and then start running my mouth? Man, I can run my mouth like a water fountain. And so, I don't know if that blows you away or not, but that blows me away. So now, I'm in partnership with Apple. I mean, not Apple. I used to be in partnership with Apple. I'm not in partnership with Apple right now. I'm in partnership with Amazon, though. Amazon sends me money every month. I'm in partnership with YouTube. YouTube sends me money every month. Now, 2.5 years, I'm just telling you I'm showing you what happens. I'm a year late to this YouTube game. I'm a year late, but it still works. Last month, YouTube paid me $67,000 for making YouTube videos that I was creating for free wasn't getting paid nothing on Facebook. Now, like I said, you don't have to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. Just don't be a wooden spoon, what? Forever. Okay. What happened in 2021? 2021, AI was created. In 2021 we went into, this is the part that all of this running my mouth was to get to this one point. I believe we are in the integrated intelligence age. So integrated intelligence, what does that mean? We're not in the artificial intelligence age, because artificial intelligence needs real intelligence to program it in the first place. So it's the people who know how to integrate what artificial intelligence can do that saves them time, effort, energy, and money. And then they do what artificial intelligence can't do, which is have conversations with people and perceive what people's needs and desires are. And then I integrate my intelligence, my real intelligence, with artificial intelligence. I combine those things together and I come up with something that couldn't have existed with either one of us by ourselves. And then I use the integrated intelligence. Okay, it's about to get good. It can stay there. I use the integrated intelligence because I realized that a computer, or in this case an iPad, that's connected to the internet, some kind of device that's connected to the internet, is the land in our 21st century agricultural age. What does that mean? Okay. The land that houses my YouTube videos is on YouTube, which is on the internet, which I uploaded with a device that's connected to the internet. So a device connected to the internet is the land. But guess what? I use my devices, my iPad, my iPhone, my Sony cameras, all those interfaces back there where Larry's pushing all the buttons in Command Central. I use all of this stuff. This is the industrial age minus the permission. So technology literally gives me the ability to hold the agricultural age in my hands. The agricultural age of integrated intelligence, I get to hold it in my hands. The machines of the industrial age, I get to hold it in my hands. I get to take it with me when I go somewhere. Like, if I had a farm and I left, my farm would still be where it is, and I'd be where I am, and they wouldn't be the same place. But now, my farm goes with me. My machine, my factory goes with me. But wait, there's more. I distribute my content on the internet. I'm getting chills. Because the technology has given me the ability to capitalize on the agricultural age, figuratively speaking, the industrial age, figuratively speaking, the distribution age, figuratively speaking, the technology age, I go to the a device in my hand. I can go and I can Google something. I can look up it on ChatGPT, and I can get ChatGPT to do research for me in a fraction of the time that I would do the research for myself. But I don't let it think for me. I let it assist me in my research. I let it assist me in my thinking. I ask it questions to things that I have to go look up in encyclopedias 30 years ago. Some young people right now saying, what's an encyclopedia? I know. That's my whole point. And it's the platform on which I use my technology. I use this technology to create education that entertains people and educates people in an entertaining way. It's where I find my strategic partners. I literally have all of the wealth I need. Like, this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing. I can make more money than Henry Ford, and I have it all in my hand. There's never been a time in human history when it's been easier to create wealth than right now. It just doesn't feel like it. And it doesn't feel like it because you're stuck in the past and you're saying, but what about this? And what about that? And what about this? You're saying, but what about the land? But what about the machines? Oh, but what about the technology? I don't know how to use a computer. That's fine. You don't know how to use a computer today. That's fine. But if we come back 30 days from now and you're still saying, I don't know how to use a computer, now there's a problem. Because now you've taken this on as an identity instead of an inconvenience. And it doesn't take that long to learn how to use one. You say, Myron, what are you saying? Like, I implore you, for the sake of your families, for the sake of your children, for the sake of the challenges that you will face that you don't even know exist yet, I implore you, seize the day. Carpe diem. Act like you're not going to be here forever. Have a sense of urgency and say, you know what? Like, I'm going to be doing something with that time. I might as well do something that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. You might build a YouTube channel and it might not get 1 million views or 100,000 subscribers or you might not make tens of thousands of dollars a month, but you will have developed a new skill. And that new skill will give you the ability to see, when you see another opportunity, some things that you wouldn't have seen had you not developed that skill. I've read, I don't even know how many hundreds of books. I've written 5 books, I think 3 anthologies. And we sell anywhere, I don't know, $30,000 to $70,000 worth of books a month, which is a decent amount of books. But guess what? None of that is as valuable as me developing the skill of learning how to write a book. Because, okay, here it is. You, who? Everybody tap yourself on the chest, say me. You are the resource.
I am the resource.
You are the resource. If you're willing to be resourceful. If you'll buy more into your empowered expectation than you do into your disempowered excuses. You are the resource. Why am I doing this? Because, I remember how painful it was to have more months at the end of the money than money at the end of the month. I remember that very vividly. It was very unfun. And guess what? To be able to buy anything you want to buy, I don't have anything I really want to buy, but to be able to buy anything you want to buy and not have to worry about how much it costs, but not having to think about how much it costs is a beautiful thing. The being able to do things for people in your family when those people in your family need them done, to be able to serve your friends and your community in ways, there's something about that feels so on purpose. The stuff is just the stuff. But man, if you become the person, if you will become the person, I guess that's why I'm doing this. I guess that's the whole point of me being here on the YouTube sphere, talking to these beautiful people in Tampa, is because I believe in your potential. And I believe you have the ability to reach your potential and to surpass your current potential. Because when you reach your current potential, it will expand your potential, and then give you further and further to reach for. But only if you do it. All the people who haven't believed in you your whole life, stop listening to them. They don't have any idea who you are. I see God-likeness in you. Go do the thing. Do the thing. Become the person. Do the thing. Become the person. Seize the day. I suppose I will. I read this poem when I was 21 years old, and it impacted my life greatly. It goes like this. Isn't it funny how princes and kings and clowns who caper in sawdust rings and common folks like you and me, we're all builders for eternity, to each is given a book of rules, a block of stone and a bag of tools, and each must shape ere time has flown a stumbling block or a stepping stone. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer, it pays you what you ask. But once you've set the wages, well, then you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. Go ask life for more. Go give life more. Go expect more. Go become more. Do more. And do not be surprised when at the end of the day, you have more to leave to your children and your grandchildren by the grace of God. I hope this video helps you. Please watch it over and over and become the person who can do the thing. And in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed by the best, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.
Farming is actually